Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you, hearing you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, grab a pew if you can find one. Ray Porter was cast as Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, I tell you what, you Snyder fans have unearthed something massive this time. You are relentless, and the Exiles Network, they're the ones who kind of found this out. And actually, Ray Porter, his name is, and I saw him on Twitter. He is on Twitter, and he's very thankful and very grateful. He says he signed an agreement. He can't say much, but he's very grateful to the people who are talking about this. Anyway, let's read the article. A lot has been written and said and speculated about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. From the moment of its release, it became clear to fans of the filmmaker that the theatrical cut of Justice League was not a Zack Snyder film. In the weeks that followed, some of us began to get tidbits of information from sources close to the film, which in collaboration with the understanding of Zack Snyder's shooting mythology, made it clear that there was another version, Zack's version. Over the course of the 17 months since the theatrical release, clues have continued to fall like breadcrumbs about what fans have donned the Snyder Cut. Much of this evidence has come from behind-the-scenes footage that became available on the bonus features of the home video release. Using this evidence, it became clear that this would be a longer cut that more closely reassembled the tone, aesthetic and sincere approach to comic book lore that director Snyder had imbued in his films. Director Snyder himself has spent much of that time sharing on-set pictures, discussing with his fans on Vero about some of the details of his original cut of the film. These reveals have always come with plenty of excitement and have fueled discussions and speculation, making the desire of the release of his vision all the more necessary for many, including me. On November the 29th, 2017, Kevin Smith discussed some Snyder Cut rumours. A member of the audience familiar with Kevin had claimed to have been at one of the early test screenings of Justice League, likely to have been Zack Snyder's version of the film. When questioned, she claimed what she saw, a Darkseid that, although wasn't completely finished, was close to it. So there's always been kind of suspicions that Darkseid was in this movie, but this is kind of knowing that an actor was cast to play Darkseid and clearly was shot to play Darkseid, and he's in the Snyder Cut. It's obvious. This is massive. Ever since the fight for the Snyder Cut, this is the most massive revelation ever since that fight has begun. On February the 13th, 2018, for SnyderCut.com, founded by a fellow film exile, Fiona Zhang, she's the biggest Snyder fan you'll find, and apparently very close to Zack as well, released that following storyboard from Zack Snyder's film. So you literally, looks like you've got you've got Darkseid sitting on a throne. You can see his red eyes. You can see one of the boxes. I think you can see the Hall of Justice as well. So here we carry on with this article. In the image, we see Darkseid, exactly, seated on a throne holding a staff, thought to be Highfather's golden staff, which draws its inconceivable power from the source, and a few shots of the mother box appearing to explode in a blue glare. The storyboards indicate that the result of this explosion is a kind of terraforming of Earth into the apocalypse-style planet we saw in Batman vs Superman's Nightmare sequence, in which we see what we can only be described as the fallen Hall of Justice. How awesome is that, though? The home base of the Justice League. As the months progressed, director Snyder continued to share his storyboards via his social media account on Vero. One of those storyboards posts was of Lois Lane visiting Heroes Park to pay her respects to her love. In the comments of this image, one fan asked Zack if he was able to shoot all the storyboard scenes that he has been posting, to which he replied, "I shoot what I draw." I'll repeat that. Zack said, "I shoot what I draw." So basically, he shot Darkseid. Darkseid is in his version of the Justice League movie. So here's the comment section here, which Zack answered that to. Did you shoot all these storyboard scenes you've been posting? I shoot what I draw. So that's very, very interesting. Again, the evidence, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about Warner Brothers. I'm going to talk about they just don't have the choice now. They've got to release this film. Trawling through the early trailers of the film, which contains Zack Snyder's shots exclusively, one can find that at the 1 minute 44 second mark official trailer 1, there is an explosive flash of blue. This is likely to be the explosion which we see in the storyboard, indicating that Zack Snyder does indeed shoot everything he draws. Wow. Then this should surely push the idea that if Zack shot these scenes, there was an actor to play Darkseid. And we know now that actor is Ray Porter. And I haven't seen Ray's body of work. I've never heard of Ray before this. But he seems like a really nice, amiable, respectful guy, because he's buzzing on Twitter. He's really glad this has come out, but he can't talk about it, of course, because you sign agreements as an actor, and if you break those agreements, you are in trouble. The Film Exiles can confirm from a source close to the production that not only was Darkseid in Snyder's cut of Justice League, but that he was cast and was performed by none other than Ray Porter. Ray Porter has been actively working in the film and television industry. His credits go far and wide, but most recently he worked on Ben Affleck's Oscar-winning thriller Argo. He has done stints on television and has appeared on Shameless, The Mentalist, Modern Family, and The Kids Are All Right. What Mr. Porter is most known for are the voice talents that he regularly lends to audiobooks. He is considered to be one of the top talents for Audible and continues to work on a variety of titles. We asked friend of the Film Exiles, Ramesh De Silva, to lend his talents and produce a mock-up of what we think Ray may have looked like as Darkseid. Of course, there is no way to know for certain, especially how much CGI would have been used, but we thought it would be fun to visualise. You can find more of Ramesh's work on his various social media accounts and on his Twitter, Ramesh De Silva 2. So if you want to check him out, you should do so. This news further shows the disconnect between director Snyder's version of the film and the one that was released in theatres. Yeah, that's an understatement. And in that film, Darkseid was nothing more than a throwaway name that probably didn't mean much to most general audience members. This confirms that Darkseid had an active role in the events of the film, and that this was a monumental shift away from the original intent of the script. Porter might not be a household name, but there is no doubt that director Snyder has always had a keen eye for casting, from 300 to Sucker Punch to his DC Films offering. He has always been able to find the perfect actor to embody a role. One can only hope that we one day get to see Ray Porter's performance the way that Zack Snyder had intended. For further information and discussion on the news, stay tuned to the Exiles net page. Yeah, I'll definitely be staying tuned to you, Exiles, and everyone should follow them. I think all of a sudden they are going to be a very popular site and a very popular Twitter account. Now, just to talk about Ray Porter, I don't personally believe he was going to be the visual Darkseid. I think he was going to do the voice. I think he was going to play the voice of Darkseid, a bit like the actor who played Steppenwolf played the voice. But then did he, I don't know, was he actually the actor? I don't know. Was he the live action version of Steppenwolf? I don't know. I'm sure someone can tell me in the comments below. Of course, this is a massive, massive revelation. And it's really boxing Warner Brothers into a corner, because we can no longer pretend that this film, this cut, this Snyder cut of the Justice League doesn't exist. It's there. It's real. They cast an actor as Darkseid. Who wouldn't want to see a Justice League film with Darkseid in it? It's time to release the Snyder cut.